Met a couple of you guys. I'm Jason.
Karen?
Awesome. What comes to mind when you guys think about negotiation?
That's my favorite part.
That's why I chose this class. Right away I chimed in.
I sat home before we don't attempt to negotiate something.
It's always fun to watch different people's styles and how hard they push around. Yeah. I'd say my favorite part is probably like the surprises in it and then just overcoming them because it gives you that sense of accomplishment. I agree. Definitely. What would you say your favorite part of negotiation?
You're trying to figure out how
What window's that? That's always fun. That's it. Sometimes you just take it into your own hand. More times than not, that's how I feel. Sweet.
Well, I don't know. It's my first time teaching this class. But sounds like we'll go over expectations, we'll go over learning negotiation tips, understanding the most common points of negotiation, walking through the 3 P's approach to the negotiation process. Kind of brief through it. Pretty good, but I feel like this is really high level. Identifying negotiation tactics and counter tactics. So you guys start with like your action plan and go through that every time at the beginning. Or?
It's different every time.
Let's start with that then. I'm not familiar with it because I'm taking the course myself, but it sounds like 10 phone calls a week and 10 walkthroughs or something. Is that different? Or 10 calls a day.
You know, some mailings and
Walking through.
home previews, make sure homework is done. So just make sure that you walk through this week's mission, watch the video if you have or haven't.
Yeah.
And then the report out is usually what, 20, 25 minutes, I think. We don't make phone calls, come back, review them if there will be or whatever, and then you're off and you're running. So you're in the game,
You know, sometimes it takes my brain a little bit to warm up in the morning, so maybe we'll circle back to the phone calls after we get through some material. So I like to get my brain going before I start to call people. Get some coffee.
you will jump start. Little push.
All right, so we'll watch this video. Okay.
Well, you gotta be on Monday, right?
All right. Monday.
Today, school's up here on Friday.
Good. I have a backup solution. Technology.
No, there's a way to do that.
Transactions.
Have you used
I
those?
grew up on a farm, so I've always seen my dad negotiating cows and horses, being the youngest of four, trading and negotiating. All growing up, so I've kind of done it all the time. Some people certainly gravitate toward it and are naturally better at it than others. But I think that negotiation can definitely be learned. I think there's a lot of skills that go into being a great negotiator. I think it's learning your client. Instead of kind of assuming that you know what's important to them, really asking a lot of questions on how you tell you what they need or want, and then speaking to the other agent and finding out what's most important. There's some agents that just come everything. When I have an agent that I'm dealing with that's very tight-lipped, I just keep asking questions. They give me information that they might not have otherwise given, whether it's a divorce or a death, or it's just they got relocated to some other city. And I think if you're really listening, being intentional, purposeful about listening, you'll find out exactly what's important to them and what they have. In certain situations, you have to be creative. We're always looking for that next tip to help. One of the techniques that we've used a lot that's worked well for us is the escalation clause. For example, if the property is listed at $250,000, we might go in at $250,000 with strong terms, and in special stipulations, we might put in there that we're willing to beat the next best documented offer by $1,000 up to $263,000. And the best offer might be $261,000, so we end up getting it for $262,000. From a client standpoint, we would have a real conversation. It's not us just being realtors for them, it's us consulting and advising and really telling them, if you really want this property, here's what you have to do to get it. Everybody's got a different way of how they negotiate. And networking with other color agents around the country can make you more ideas and carry it towards you and what you think is going to be best for you. A lot of it comes down to experience, and I think more deals you get with it. If you can step back from every transaction and do something, you're going to get really good at it.
Have you guys used that escalation clause before?
I don't know why.
Yeah, being that all my deals are commercial, there's never, very rarely like multiple offers. I guess like thinking hard about that, I was like, that's an interesting one. Like, kind of shows your cards, but it kind of gives you a layer of protection. So it's like, it can either counter you and you're like, oh, well, we want 160. If you're gonna say that, 160 plus 1,000 or whatever right away. So it's like kind of back and forth on them.
I just think his suggestion of $1,000 is adequate, like, it's not gonna be the price is right, where you're going up by $100.
Right.
But I think that just shows that you are especially motivated and you're part of the seller. I think $1,000 extra.
How about like, I've heard of some people like writing letters with their offers, like, hey, we just showing some like passion for purchasing a house, and you guys don't have it all.
Well, Gary does that. It's like I don't know what you call it, a Lovejoy letter of some sort.
Yeah.
Talking about her clients and the house.
Yeah, when I first heard of that, I was just like, oh, that's kind of cheesy. And I had it like come my way, and I was like, oh, pretty cool.
And then I had it when I rented my house years and years ago. The family, had unstable credit, stuff like that, and they wrote me a letter. I was able to read it, stuff like that. So I think, like, okay, let's give it a chance,
Yeah.
Heard a guy.
That happened to us when we were in residential property management. But yeah, we were purchasing a warehouse, and our business partner and I, and we were going to use half of it for our business. And we month is really bad. Like we gave an asking price and we wrote a letter that was like, hey, we think this is gonna be a great fit as like investment and we're gonna occupy part of it. We're willing to help you guys like move all your stuff out the day of closing or a couple days before and help you load it in the trucks. And some other guy made a cash offer, like it was like $5,000 more or something. And like, yeah, we know that you guys really wanted this and we knew you guys were gonna get done, so we want your offer. Oh, okay. So I was like, it works.
So it works. Interesting.
Yeah, it does work. Actually, I can go back to this negotiation. All right, so essentially it says negotiations are integral part of the most real estate transactions. In fact, they are also important that in the 2014 National Association of Realtors surveys of buyers and sellers negotiations ranked second in the list of what buyers want most from their agent and ranked sixth in what sellers want from their agent. As with the offer process, negotiation is a pivotal point. It can literally be the deal maker or the deal breaker. Negotiations can actually happen twice during this contract process. During the offer phase, with the goal of getting a contract, and during the option period, while under contract, with the goal of closing the contract. I think that's what makes negotiations so fun, is just because, like, the whole deal, all your work that you've been going through, showing all these properties falls on the way you're writing that contract and by negotiating with the other agent. After investing so much time in all right, negotiation tips. Keep the following tips in mind as you work toward mastering negotiation. Above all else, be professional. I think that's most important. I've seen some agents where we've had face-to-face meetings, just like preliminary, before we had an offer, and it just wasn't professional. It gives the buyer and seller bad taste in their mouth. Remember your goal. They sign contract. I think big thing that one points out is what I've seen a lot of is egos in real estate, and I think that sometimes outweighs what people really want or are really willing to negotiate. So if you can set egos aside, I think that's one of my biggest things going to negotiations. Like, all right, just mellow out and be able to read that agent and what they're really trying to get. Control what you say involved in the transaction. If you create anxiety in your clients or other parties, you're using that leverage in negotiations. Continually refer back to motivation. Remind your client what they want to buy, sell, and help. Then reevaluate their request if they're becoming unreasonable. Don't reveal too much. Listen more than talk. Keep your client's motivation close to your chest. I think that's probably in the top one or two. Like you see so many people that just come out like showing their cards, and it makes the deal really easy. Like there's this one agent, and I love dealing with it because every transaction is just so easy. Just right off the bat, she's like, "Yeah, the landlord will come down to like $10." So I think if you start there, that'd be a good point. This is going to be really easy. So holding your cards close is, I'd say, my top two most important. But do you guys have any stories related to agents just coming out and showing their cards at all? Yeah, I feel like residential is a lot. I mean, even commercial, it's just kind of 101, not over disclosing and protecting your clients. But you hear some stories where it's just like, wow, he said that?
Candy for the face.
Yeah, that's it. Makes it fun. Don't be too attached to the outcome. You'll do hundreds and thousands of transactions in your career. And there's no way you can get everything for you and your clients all the time. Don't let it affect your mindset in the deal. It doesn't go through, or if your client doesn't have on your recommendation, find a different way for your client. I try not to, like sometimes like I'll be like, okay, I know what this is going to take to get a deal done, and I'll want to over recommend something, but I just need a recommendation and then ask the question and let them make the final decision. And that's one thing that I definitely need to do better. Another point with that I'd say is like when I'm normally in that option period or negotiating some contingencies, I always ask like, okay, is this your best and final? Are you willing to lose this house over these? Because I don't want to be the one that's liable and have them upset with me. The decided to decline it. 3 P's of negotiation. On page 13. Maybe not. 13. During the negotiation process, price and terms are common points of negotiation. Price. While the sales price is the primary factor in negotiations, it is not necessarily the bottom line. In a situation where a seller receives multiple offers at the same price, it is the terms of those offers in addition to the buyer's financial position that will determine which one wins. Terms of an offer may be financial or time-based or both. When the buyer and seller can agree on a sales price, following 5 offer terms come into play. Closing costs. Traditionally paid by the buyer, closing costs are in addition to the purchase price. Securing the cash to pay these expenses can be difficult for some, especially for first-time home buyers. Therefore, the seller may be asked to close a portion of the closing costs. When you represent a seller, make sure your client is aware of it. It's common for buyers to ask for part of the closing costs to be covered by them and what their options are. Closing date. When the seller has a very specific time frame for moving, the buyer has the upper hand and can leverage this by moving more flexible with the closing date and less flexible with the offer price. Conveyances. While conveyances are defined by a locality's board of realtors, the general rule of thumb is that the attached fixtures stay with the home and non-realty items, personal property, go with the seller. In negotiations, a buyer may request that certain personal property items stay with the home, such as furniture, window treatments, earnest money, and option fee. It is in the seller's best interest for the buyer to put as much into escrow as possible, as soon as possible. Localities board of realtors has a standard price for which earnest money is deposited. The amount is often negotiated. What's the standard amount? Is there one?
It varies. I guess depending on who you're representing, but I usually see like anywhere from $2,000 to curious, you're in that, let's say like a 400 to 500 classes, sometimes like that. They can afford it.
Yeah. When do you guys ever write contracts for earnest money card like right off the bat? Or is that pretty rare?
We're earnest money is what?
Like non-refundable? Like right off the bat?
I've never used
Yeah.
it.
It is. I don't think I have any. Repairs most often are contingent on the outcome of the home inspection and necessary repair. Depending on the complexity of the repairs, buyers may ask the seller to make the repairs prior to closing. Deduct the repair cost from the sales price or pay a lump sum at closing to cover the cost. I don't see that very often, but I can see where that is a major pain point headache because I've seen it once and it was removing like a commercial grade cooler. And a lot of the people I deal with, it's like they own contracting companies that have resources and they get the buyer like, hey, will you probably need 15 grand to remove this cooler? And the guy's like, no, I'll come over the day after closing, I'll put it in writing, I'll remove it myself, one of my handymen for $1,000. And I always feel like that's probably a huge hurdle, especially in the residential side. The 3 P's approach. No. So, negotiation is a skill that can be learned and perfected with experience. It's definitely true. The best practice for negotiating and bringing the buyer and seller together is the 3 P's approach. Prepare, present, position. I used to not be good at negotiating at all. Like I'd see my dad going to like a hardware store and negotiate the dumbest thing. And I was like, how do you do that? Everything's negotiable. And it's crazy. Now I always look for a deal. Hey, 50% off? Sure. Yeah. Just gotta ask sometimes. So preparation is key to building confidence and ensuring a smooth negotiation process. Know your goal. Have a clear goal of reaching a win-win agreement in which both buyer and seller are satisfied with the outcome of the negotiation. Remind your client of their motivation for moving or buying the house, and that when the contract closes, they'll be able to move on with their lives. Know your client. Make sure you fully understand your client's goals. Learn the areas in which they're willing to negotiate and where they stand firm. Think ahead. Anticipate what other parties want out of the negotiation. Write down how you think they may counter the offer and how you plan to handle it. Set clear expectations. Prior to meeting with the other parties, set clear and realistic expectations with your client. Then under-promise and over-deliver. Stress the importance of moving quickly to create a sense of urgency. Part of setting clear expectations with your client is being clear that win-lose agreements are likely to be rejected by the other side to set yourself up for success. Make it a win-win. I took this CCIM week-long negotiation course and went over every different type of transaction, how you can negotiate it. We always started with this diagram was your client, betting them all the way down to what both parties want. I'm sure you guys do that, the husband and wife, and or in my case, the president versus some of the employees or whatever the case might be. And then oftentimes we'll do a lot of due diligence on the client of the other agent selling or buying. There's only 20, 25 commercial agents in town, so you know them all really well. You know all their styles of negotiation. But I like to do a lot of due diligence as soon as I see their name and find out, okay, what do they own? What are they looking for in this property? And it goes a long way when you understand who you're dealing with. But,
I think it's super helpful to think about every party in the transaction. You find out stuff that I haven't.
right.
You're probably not the only one to do. My clients actually do it on because they can find out last name on a tax record or anywhere on the MLS or bill or wherever. So they Google up the name and you see what the guy works, or you want their family this way. Now it's like, we're working on it. I'm like, I'm not that nosy. So.
Yeah. Yeah, and you see a picture of them riding Harleys, it's like, oh, you like ready, spring, you're going to ride Harleys, all of a sudden they're friends, and things just kind of click. That goes on. More preparation. One, before making an offer or counter offer, good practice to speak with two other agents. Ask open-ended questions and use active listening to find out as much as you can about the other party, another agent. This helps you know with whom you are negotiating, on what points you'll negotiate, and where you and your client have leverage. I feel like Keller Williams being the size it is, like you might not have dealt with, I mean, well, there's like 450 in Rochester, like, but I bet somebody else in our office has, and it's a tough one. Just saying, hey, have you ever worked with Gary? Like, what should I look out for? What is he like? And that kind of a nice thing about Keller Williams. Coming where I came from was a brokerage of like 5, and it's definitely nice to have all the support around here. Obey the laws. Every state and local and locality has its own set of laws that regulate zoning, mortgage qualifications, and other real estate matters. Be current on any local regulations and stay at court. Know the documents inside and out. Be familiar with your local board of realtors governing forms. Take the time needed to understand the form. What belongs to each field. So now we got scenario. We go through and create our own questions and see how we handle this. Scenario is you are representing a single buyer. Your client is renting for present property. Like any first-time buyer, she is looking to you to guide her through the process. The asking price of the home she really loves is $175,000. The house appears to have evidence of a roof leak and is listed as is and is correctly priced. Your client would like to keep her payments as low as possible since she still has the numbers to average. She wants to write an offer for $155,000. There has been quite a bit of activity on the listing. What do we recommend to the single person? I don't know if you need more help here. Page 16. I skipped through all like the activities. 16? Yeah. Yeah. I can print another one. What, I mean, initially to me, 20,000 seems like quite a bit under asking price for a home that has quite a bit of activity. Like, I'm the type of guy that's pretty straightforward and just says, you know, I don't think we should waste our time writing an offer at that price. I think it's going to go depending on where the market is, but if there's quite a bit of activity on it, I rather than ask questions, maybe I need to change the volume, or like they're that far off, I'm like pretty straight to the point. But I think definitely depending on, you know, first time home buyer, somebody that isn't as familiar with the process, is approach of asking your client questions to get their mind thinking in the right direction. That you're asking prices too low. What have you guys done on that scenario?
No, it's just too much.
I always bring up that because it was like the first time in the state, probably already, watch too much HGTV and watch it. We're just gonna go in there and lowball because, 80% of the time it pays off for them, but I just say, all right, put your mind aside, don't think about HGTV, just go out here. And it says, all right, 155, might leave a bad taste in, their agent small, might find nothing, so what would you want to do? Maybe want me to ask, to have maybe a broker come down there and give you an estimate of how much it would cost to paving briefing with it? Do you want, do you have $400 in your pocket to go get an inspection done? You can have an inspection there, or, just ask some other questions because $20,000 a picture bill probably isn't like that. So, so it could taste like $5,000, maybe looking and, maybe you're at 165 or 170.
That's important. Educating them on reality of some of those expenses that they might incur rather than just taking it.
I also like to point out the comps and point out the realtor who's representing the seller is generally an experienced realtor who's done a market analysis and says, this is the value of the property, all things considered. It's considering that the roof is shot. It's considering the other, the other things, and that's why it's listed as is.
Right. That's a good one. Consider like their position. Like if you were on the receiving end and you haven't sold a home before, you're a first time home buyer, it's like you wouldn't really want to get an offer at that price. It just doesn't start ideal. I think going back to what I was saying earlier, knowing your client's position, how much it's like if that's your dream home, I might not recommend you starting at that low price. So, if this is something that you're just like, it could be a nice home, but I've seen others that have been just as interested in it. Maybe go for it.
And then being on the receiving end, a lot of times I've seen agents say, here's my client's offer, I'm obligated to present it to you.
Yeah.
And it always explains to clients that, this is just their approach to purchasing
Right.
a property.
That's always a tough one without thinking you should. I purchased my house in Pine Island. It was pending and it came back on the market that day. And I was looking for something with acreage. And I was first one through it that morning, and the neighbor was over there plowing it or doing something. And he was like, I heard they got like 4 other showings today. And I didn't really know how to use MLS. Still don't, but I looked and I saw that there was like 4 other showings. Oh, crap. So I saw they did like $20,000 price reduction, and I put my offer in, like buying it as is with just a finance contingency. I was like, well, I'll have my banker write me a letter saying funding it. I can't. If I see something I don't like, I don't know if that's the best approach, but
I always have to have like safety net there in case, right?
Yeah, I was planning on like I didn't even do an inspection, but I feel like I'm pretty easy. So I knew I needed some siding or just some moldy boards and paint. The agent calls me, he's like, yeah, septic tank is not in compliance. So I just want to make you aware of that. Shoot. And that's when I went back to him and I waived my commission on it. So that's, I think, why they ended up going on my offer. But I said, all right, if you drop the price of half the septic tank, then, I'll sign it or something, because we agreed upon it just verbally, and then they agreed, so I lowered my offer by $1,000. They signed it before any of the other showings, like 10 a.m. or something, and then I waited to have the septic tested like middle of summer when it was dry, and then passed. Sweet. So I don't know. It's always interesting. Presenting the offer. Step 2, moving negotiation process by presenting the current offer the co-op agent and listening to the response. Call the other agent to let them know the offer or counter offer is coming and invite them into the buying loop in eEdge, and they will be able to view the offer contract. You guys see that? Yeah, I was gonna say. There's an agent in town, super old school, and like every time he's like, "Can I come over to your office, get your claim? I want to do this in paper, in person." And he goes through and just gives the biggest sales pitch. He has this other agent that he's been mentoring for a couple years. He does the same thing every time. And I'm like, all right, sure. And I warm my client up and I tell him, all right, look for these things. And it's always an interesting one because he's super pushy, but sometimes he won't even present the offer unless he gets to do it in person. It's uncomfortable sometimes. Pay attention to the nonverbal cues. While it is not always possible or practical to make your presentation in person, I feel like more times than not, it's their email, isn't it?
95%.
Yeah, I agree with that. A face-to-face meeting allows you to analyze body language and facial expressions. Otherwise, present your offer by phone and listen for verbal cues. Keep quiet once you present an offer. Sometimes letting the other person do most of the talking is the most powerful negotiation tactic because of what they will do. That's definitely true. Listen carefully to what is important to the other party. Write down what they say to demonstrate that you are taking them seriously, and then move on. Stay calm and relaxed. Either party may have a strong emotional reaction to the price or other terms of the offer. Be a calming influence until they are able to see the situation rationally again. Remember, you are there as a representative of your client. Keep your emotions out of it. Focus on the customer's needs. Isolate the objections on both sides and offer solutions that will satisfy the other party while they still meet your client's core needs. Give your offer less to the chance. Be confident and commit to your offer as you present it. Avoid indicating to the other side if you believe it is a less than a great offer. That the agent that always asks for the face-to-face meeting, that is like, he's always very confident in his offers. And he's like, I know, I've sold a lot of real estate. I know what these things are going to sell for. And $170 a square foot. If you think it's worth any more than that, you're crazy. And this particular transaction I have in mind, my client has done some work with this agent. And he's kind of like half retired, goes to Arizona winter. So he called me and he's like, hey, I want you to list this property. And so I list it. A couple weeks later, like 2 weeks later, he calls me, hey, I saw you listed that property. And he's like, I should have got that listing, but whatever, good for you. And I just started laughing because we're kind of buddies. Like, he represented my grandpa back in the day. Oh yeah, real old school. And then he's like, I got an offer for you. Like, I should have just brought it right to him, but he's like, I like you. So, like, he's the type of guy that he doesn't care about any laws. He'll just go right to the client if he doesn't like you. So he's like, let's all get together in my office 5 p.m. today. Yeah, like, I was like, I guess we don't have an option. So I called my client, we met down there, and like, I think we both know how this is gonna go, what to look for. And we get there, and I think it got down to like, he didn't have his client there, but it was us two, and it got down to like $5,000 off, and he gave us the whole pitch about the comps that he had in the back of his head. He's like, what's $5,000 to you? Come on, you got that just laying around. And my client just was sarcastic. He's like, well, my son's out fishing right now for dinner, so 5,000 is a big deal. so he was pretty confident, but
How did it end?
oh man, it ended pretty well. Like, this was like the best negotiation ever because everything came into play. So we got it under contract, and they said they were going to close in like 3 or 4 weeks, which doesn't really happen in commercial. And I was like, okay, sure. And he's like, hey, he's in a local small town bank in wherever, somewhere in western Minnesota. And I was like, all right, good. Like, small town banks get it done. And Then all of a sudden, like 2 weeks before closing, I saw like the classic US Bank environmental phase 1 questionnaire show up. Like, this is not a local small bank, and you guys are doing this now. Like, if we have to do environmental study, this is going to go on for 2 months. And I didn't want to show my clients cards because they're financing, they had to get refinanced in 2 months, or like not even like a month. So I was like, oh God, like that's when I was like, oh man, starting to get nervous. But we went back and forth like multiple counter offers over this one. It was the one where in the cooler. We got one that was called the cooler, and it was definitely uncomfortable. But at a certain point, we were just like, no, like you guys can walk. We got to get this thing closed in 2 weeks. You know, we're not paying you guys any more money. And I think we ended up coming down like 10 grand. Watched their position, it was super good. So they work on it, but because there was some, but it closed. It was a quick deal. I think we got done in like 2 months rather than a month of it, which every time the decision breaks enough, I kind of expect that. So that was, got to experience a little bit of everything there. All right. Now for another activity. Page 18, you guys have that one? Yeah. So, that is a tough one. I struggle with this one sometimes, but I think the biggest thing is reading all the parties in the room. Like sometimes you're with some business people and they're all like really into it, sitting out, and sometimes you get in there like they're laid back with their feet kicked up, and I try to reciprocate some of that to a degree, just to kind of be on the level from what I've read. I think this one has pointers on it, but crossing your arms, like my mom always says, don't cross your arms. If you do that too much, it shows that you're closed and you're sheltered. And I'm like, okay. So I think automatically, like if somebody crosses their arms, you just kind of intuitively know, like, okay, they're thinking they're a negative association with it.
So maybe when you don't want to be here.
Yeah. I think
Here comes the sales pitch. It's here.
Yeah. The voice inflection is a pretty big one. You can tell a lot of people's voice. Like my voice is naturally monotone. So if I get excited, I must be getting pretty. Other than that, that's all.
I always get criticized because I'm official, so sometimes I gotta talk really loud and like be like quiet voice or something, but I still have that high pitch. My wife will go, "Oh, get out of that referee tone, level it off, level it off." She's the one that is really irate by like being tense and stuff like that. She might talk to somebody and might leave like a bitter taste in her mouth, and confrontation or something. So the next text that she gets from her mom, you know, how does this go? Is she mad at me or is it right? I said, you're gonna have to take it as it is because you're not talking to her. You can't see the facial expressions. And this that happens with our daughters. Feisty and everything. Oh, she really mad at me. Oh, she's not. She's just like happy. You just never know, man. You can picture that up, you know, even when you're meeting with your clients or if you're talking to the agent, got an offer coming. So, are they excited about it, or are they just like, okay, I'll take a look at it? Being confident. Some of those little insights, or a little other conversation like, Joe, how's your day going? Yeah, before you have great, thanks. Make sure we'll review it, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. If you have any questions or what? It's just not high and by.
Yeah, that's important.
One of my first offers was a house over in Hart Farms. It was listed for $399, and it says seller over me. And my client's first offer was $360,000, and seller was going to pay all closing costs. Call up the agent, said, Joe, can I have an offer for you today? My clients are out of town. And, probably gonna be, somewhere low, but, taking consideration as the first one, they're probably gonna be willing to negotiate, so, take it to heart and let me know if you guys have any questions. And then the negotiation started from there. Yep, no problem. Says, do they see this motivated seller? They did, do research, know that, the owners are out of the house and they're living already in Plymouth, they already got a new house, so this is what's gonna happen.
You just closed all that?
No, they found out, because, they were working for Mayo.
Oh, I got that.
So, they found out who owned the house, they Googled them, found out, married couple, they're both CNRAs. They, are out in Plymouth, so they thought they could get it for a good deal. And by the time you're up at, like 390, they still want to pay the closing costs. You're just like, you know what? We're not interested. They came back, and 6 months later, they wanted another house that was over there. It was, 379 that had a beautiful wraparound deck, because that's what she was madly in love with it. It was on an odd lot, it was like a triangle lot. All right, so what do you guys want to do on this one? And so you guys lowball the last one, but what happened? They went into a full offer, and I said, all right, get it done. And negotiated a little bit, and we lost that one too, because another offer came in, it was an all cash offer. They just proposed it. But did find them a house over on Mayo. Happy with that. Good to go, but
Yeah, those are tough where it's like, they kind of just goes, oh, motivated selling, blah, blah, and people really just hold out and aren't even really willing to negotiate. I think the texting is huge. When you get a text and you can't really decipher, okay, how are they meaning this, or what are they getting at here? Because I probably struggle with that. Like I don't like texting that much, so I don't really say a lot over text. But yeah, that's tactics to use counterattack. Negotiating, your client and her agents will use certain methods or tactics in an attempt to manipulate the negotiation. Because these tactics are generally predictable, you can learn to quickly and accelerate identify them when they are being used by you. Additionally, you can respond with the appropriate counter tactics with a highly profitable probability of accurately predicting how your response will be taken. Following are 3 of the most common tactics used in negotiations and counter tactics to use in response. Hi, Lori.
Hi.
Everything go up? Awesome. That's good.
Yeah.
So we're on page 19, going through the 3 P's in negotiation. We skipped the phone calling because my brain wasn't awake, so we're going to give you some material and go back. He said he makes it up every time, different shutters, but that's the type of guy I am. Drink some coffee before I start down the phone. Nobody likes to be called in person on Monday morning.
a little bit of warm up.
Yeah.
Good instruction.
So, page 19, going through the tactics of counter tactics and negotiations. Tactic 1, nibbling. Once your client has agreed upon one major concession, the other party will start nibbling for additional smaller concessions. Let's go through them. Well, let's figure out the counter tactic first. I haven't seen a lot of this, but I'm sure you guys have. So will that be something like, okay, we've got Pastor roughly figured that out, but now the buyer is requesting that you fix this piece of trim. We want this grout, and we want you to clean all the windows. Is that kind of an example? What's
I try to, themselves in the issues.
Yeah.
They have conceded on different little things, there are little things, and, if they're confident that this is the house for them, probably not.
yeah, providing the education, the actual members to the things they're asking for, and say, hey, they gave you 5,000, you're asking for a couple $100 and small things. Let's look at this closer and see if it's really worth it. Because I'm definitely the guy that gives into those little things where, like, sold our little flip house and they're like, we want this, we need to change the light bulb, this, and just this long list. And I looked at it and I about just said no. And then I finally was like, let's meet in the middle at least. They can change the light bulbs maybe for whatever reason, but a lot of times I give in too quickly or I make a rational decision and say no, like, they can walk if they're asking for these little things. And that's kind of where I have to set my ego aside, because I don't let it get involved unless like I'm personally invested in the transaction, and I get too involved like with myself. Calm down. Hey. What tactics do you have to work?
So if we're talking about maybe after the, like you said, after the inspection.
Yeah.
I counsel them pretty well ahead of time that this is just for safety. If I am the buyer.
Yeah.
And here's an example of safety. Now, the light bulb is off, that's not a safety. There's a tear in the vinyl flooring, that's not a safety issue. Safety issues have to do with electrical, mechanical, gas or carbon dioxide, factory those. Unless it's one of those.
Yeah.
Let it go.
That's a good one. Yeah. Whether it's really necessary or it's just nitpicking.
Yeah. So I just try to set it up ahead of time. So when it does come up, a lot of times it does go back to based on our other conversation. This is what we're looking at.
Second tactic that people use in negotiations is complicated. The other party tries to pass a problem on to you. For example, the co-op agent tries to pass all closing costs to your client because their client can't afford them.
That happens a lot.
Yeah, it does. I kind of like these because people think like, oh my gosh, what are we gonna do? There's no way to.
I'm not paying the closing costs.
Yeah, and I feel like every transaction there's always a way to meet in the middle, whether they're holding something back or they're putting it on top of the purchase price or whatever the case may be. Like, I feel like you set everything aside and both parties want a win-win agreement. It's really not that difficult to get past, but it's I feel like often perceived as like the hardest one. Like, nope, and they put it all back on somebody.
And most people just come back with increasing their purchase price. Yeah.
Yeah. We've like some of the deals that I've seen, it would be like city fees or like all those things, or even some of the inspections, like phase 1 or 2, like environmental studies, get to be like tens of thousands of dollars, and you can get pretty creative on how, like, okay, if I'm going to be doing all this, I have a bunch of good information on the property. If we don't close, you can even negotiate selling some of the information to the seller. I'm not sure if that's applicable on your guys' side, but once you have that much money into a property, it's almost like they have leverage, like because they know you got 20,000 and they're just in due diligence here. Good guy, bad guy is my favorite. Two people working together, husband and wife, will take on opposing roles. One appears friendly and considerate while the other behaves in a difficult or aggressive manner. Think of the typical car salesman who says his manager. won't let him reduce the price any further. Another agent I work with, Sam, every time he's like, all right, who's good guy, who's bad guy? I don't think the tactic works very well. I think it actually complicates quite a bit. It just adds a whole nother level of something to the transaction that can steer the wrong direction. I think like the two agents that I was describing earlier, the really old school one, he always comes in and plays the bad guy, and he has someone that works with the firm and another agent that he works pretty closely with on pretty much every deal because he travels so much. And he always makes him the good guy. Like you can just tell they're kind of back to like, okay, like they almost calm him down sometimes. And when you have the table and you have your client there, it adds to just a whole other level of anxiety. It definitely does not help like people. Position. Position is moving both parties closer to each other until you have a full agreement. Acknowledge and affirm the common ground, where the buyer and seller are in agreement and are at the same position, and identify which position is just and which are set in stone. I think that's where like some of that due diligence preparation, pre-negotiating, like you can almost prepare your client for what they might expect as a counter. I almost feel like a lot of times just going into a deal, you kind of know like, okay, this is where this deal is most likely going to close without like stereotyping the deal too much. But you feel like as agents go through enough transactions, you kind of know and you can kind of provide that information to your client right up front. Kind of key, finding that common ground. Ask what and how questions to better understand other parties' values and why certain things are important to them. For example, say you are representing a seller who wants to close in 30 days. If a buyer wants to close within 60, ask your client, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, are you requesting a 30-day? Are you requesting a 30-day closing? What is important about closing in 30 days? I guess that's a simple question to ask. But I think that helps mitigate some of the egos rather than telling them it's unrealistic, asking them, letting them think through it themselves, like, okay, why do you really need to close in 30 days? Maybe there is a real reason, which you just got to set the expectations that that's going to be tough or it might be realistic, but I think letting them think through it, asking questions is highly important and something that I'm still working on. If your client becomes defensive, you would explain, my goal is to let you know why this point is important to you. That's it. Like if they have to refinance in 30 days and you finally get that out of them, it's like, okay, this would be good to know up front, or maybe they're in financial position struggling. It's always difficult to get them out of them up front, but like we just listed a property that we felt like, okay, this is kind of weird, like why some of the behaviors and things we just like saw in the county records. And then we kind of like asked him, like, hey, is there anything we should know, blah, blah. And then finally down the road, he's like, I need to get this thing sold for X, Y, and Z. I'm like, okay, well, if we would have known that, we probably would have taken a different approach. And it's always helpful to get a couple of things out of the way. Understanding what is important to the other party allows you to prioritize and address their issues in order of importance. Positioning is a process and sometimes requires you to come back to the negotiation table more than once. Sometimes several counteroffers will be necessary to negotiate and accept. Know when to walk. Sometimes the other side may refuse to give your client the win they need despite your efforts. Knowing when and how to walk away can not only save your client from a win-lose deal, but it can sometimes jolt them unreasonable party to a concession for fear of losing the deal. The key is to walk away without burning bridges. I feel like the little bit of residential real estate I did, like selling our little flip house, and then 2 years ago representing my dad and buying like $150,000 single family home, like you didn't really have that position to walk away. Like there's always multiple offers and you kind of had to give and give. But I feel like it's getting a little bit better now. What is you guys' thoughts?
As far as multiple offers happening?
Yeah, and just like this one says like kind of walking away related to knowing that, okay, well, if you walk away, I got another buyer that's probably going to buy it at a very close price.
Yeah, I just have one actually, so what I just closed. And the buyer had every reason, almost every reason to walk away.
Mhm.
But we worked through it and the seller happened to mention when they were there because of this issue we had, so the buyer's parents were there, I was there, so the seller and the builder. So the seller happened to tell me, you know, if this doesn't work, it's okay, it's not gonna put us in any financial fine, because we already have a buyer for this house. We leave that to the buyer.
Yeah.
The buyer's like, well, if we can do this, this and this, you know, then I'll still take it. You know,
That's interesting.
I think when
Came down to Friday.
when disclosing information to the other agent, it's just important to keep it honest and not exaggerate. Like if my person is at the end of their rope with negotiation, I answer with, I can't tell you where this is going to go, but I think this is the last time that they're gonna come.
That's a good way to put it. Because you don't want to speak for your clients. And
Right.
say it was the best and final. That'd be bad. Yeah, I have a tough time doing that myself. Like on a lot of levels, when I get something in my head, like I need somebody or I need to sit down and slow myself down and be like, all right, what am I not looking at? Like you do got to know just when to back out of a deal because there's plenty of other deals out there. All right, your turn. Positioning. Choose a partner. One person will play the buyer agent. The other will play the listing agent. Take a few minutes to review the scenario and information about your role. Using what you've learned so far in this session, take 1 to 2 minutes to prepare for negotiation. Present your case to your partner in practice position. Go back and forth 2 times, both aiming to arrive at a win-win agreement. You guys want to break it out? Go
Yeah.
Scheduling breaks.
Lots of breaks.
Yeah.
What do you think right after this? unique one for Minnesota. So I feel like don't appliances always.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see, my dad bought a house in Arizona and it's like, yeah, we didn't negotiate the appliances. I was like, what?
Yeah,
Weirdest thing.
I'd say 99% of the time.
Weirdest. To represent more buyers or so. Or take the buying agent role.
So. So it sounds like there's two issues here. They're giving the appliances to their daughter, and they don't want to negotiate on the price.
And the house needs carpet on the first floor, garage door.
Right. The buyers offered $340. It's kind of a tough one.
Depending on what. Yeah,
You're looking at different 22 too.
I would,
You know, as long as who and reasonably better. The appliance one, you know, more. I would have to garage or. No. The finance agent. You know.
I was in the buy side,
I just try to explain that.
I'd come, that's okay.
But what?
I with my client, that's okay. I think they're gonna be pretty firm on price. It's offered $345. Let's say we got an estimate like carpet, it's gonna cost $2,000 to replace. So we'll ask if they pay that, the garage door opener, which is gonna cost them $100. So then, you know, and you feel like your client's getting something and then they kind of justify, okay, $345 and then minus what they're willing to give. I think they would like to give the appliances, but I'd use that as negotiation, like, okay, we're gonna ask that the appliances stay, and then if they come back and try to get a higher price, then we're definitely, you know, that's kind of like our make or break. The appliance, we'll go up to your price if the appliances stay. We'll stay at our price if you guys vice versa, these appliances. So then you kind of have.
Right, trying to figure out how much the appliances are.
Yeah.
How much they really are.
Yeah, because it's all really a numbers game at the end of it, and where everybody wants to win. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, I wonder if the 340 is as high as they can go. They said they've been re-approved. You know, so that's only been approved for, which doesn't tell you here. You know, kind of a different story as far as the scenario that you're willing to do.
Yeah, you can, I guess, depending on the story, but if they do have room for, maybe they don't have the cash, but they have room to increase their financing. Some banks don't like it, but we say, okay, you guys remove the appliances, we'll pay, how do we do this? We said, we'll pay the $345 if you give us $5,000 at closing. So then you're kind of financing your appliances essentially.
Right.
Yeah, but I don't know if banks, some banks definitely want that. I don't know, have you tried that before?
Yeah. Some do, some don't.
Yeah.
So let's say they can only qualify for 340. If I were the listing agent, and this is a situation, I'd probably talk to the listing or the buyer agent first and say, you know, let's discuss the options here. Okay. Can your clients, you know, can they go over the 340? Because that's going to determine, you know, what we negotiate in here. You know, if
if they're stuck at 340, then let's do this. Because even if they increase the price, the people can't go over 340, you know.
Usually transparent. Yeah, it'd help with the scenario game.
Yeah, if they could go higher, or if
Yeah.
they,
That's, yeah, who knows, maybe the appliances are, 20 years old.
Yeah.
Because they're green in color or yellow, it's like,
Yeah.
you really want to keep up. You could get a new one at it.
A lot of rabbit holes. Yeah, I think the big takeaway is as a listing agent, knowing, not having essentially a worthless negotiation or counter offer, knowing,
right,
yeah,
right,
The price point.
right. Right. Yeah, and that's what you can explain to the seller. You know, here's where we are. And I might even do a net sheet
yeah,
and say, okay, here's the other offers that we had that we rejected. Okay, this is the offer we have on it. You want to move, they want to move. Let's make this work. So let's discuss the options that we have in front. Okay, so
Do you have many agents disclose the other offers on the table?
what's that?
Do you encounter many don't disclose what the other offers?
No,
Oh, I thought that that's what you were saying.
no,
No. Sheet.
no, what the offers are that they've done.
just really unfair. Yeah, I don't like that approach because I'm a numbers guy and I feel like a lot of people like deal with their numbers guys. So if they say, okay, you would have added this, now, okay, we are getting closer to where you want to be, like,
Right.
certain market, what are the odds we're going to get to what you really want in that, or is this going to be reality?
Yeah,
Right
because
now?
let's say the other offers were 335. You know, and say, well, you know, we actually just gained $5,000, you know, from where we were. And, you know, we want to get there, be there, you know, for a certain amount of time. I understand that you're going to give your appliances to your daughter. But is it really worth losing this money? We're talking the difference of $5,000.
And does she really value them as much?
Yeah,
Because look at how much, $700 can buy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
you know, just kind of point out the big picture to them. Because a lot of times, it's just principle.
Yeah.
You know, well, they didn't offer me full price, so I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah,
No,
it's that way too.
so a lot of it is just principle, and, you know, I have to say, let's remove the emotion. You know, we all have the same goal. You know, let's brainstorm, figure out our options.
Yeah, if I could go back to college, I think I'd go back to psychology.
Yeah,
I'd be a little bit better at real estate.
yeah.
It's crazy.
I think the only way you can really know what to do is by going through it.
Yeah.
Speak from experience. But I would talk to other agents in your office and see if they've been in a similar situation and what they did.
Yeah, we talked about, there's like, 450 agents in Rochester, so it's like 100 agents in our marketplace. I bet somebody's dealt with agents, so we can talk with them, figure out the negotiation styles, and it goes a long way. Like, we kind of have these, there's only 20, 25 commercial agents in town, all of them, you have lunch with them all the time, and we're kind of friends, so it makes it really easy. Like, when you bring in this one lady, like, these guys, you bring them a deal, it's like, right off the bat, she's like, I know you guys could probably come down a little bit, we can make this work. I'm like, yes, like, it's gonna be an easy deal.
Yeah.
But obviously, that is not ideal for clients.
I like that idea, because if it's a 90 closing, you have to make more mortgage payments if you're not out of the house. And you already got the house in Florida, and when does that take over? You might be making 2 more mortgage payments there, so that, 1,000, 2,000 on the old house, 1,000, 2,000 on the new house, is $4,000. So,
Not to mention utilities. especially this winter. Utilities that you're gonna be paying, you have to pay for snow plowing. Yeah, so, yeah, so, if you throw financial, you throw numbers at them, you can't deny numbers.
Yeah.
They have to take their emotion out of it, because it's right there.
A little bit more work goes along.
Well, we can take a break. I want to print off this one negotiation sheet, just so you guys can have it, but it like takes into consideration, like, you list out, okay, market conditions, like, kind of geared towards leasing, but you could really use it for anything. And the other party, what you can expect them to meet in the middle and like their positions, and then all parties, and then kind of like rates everything. So it kind of like creates a net sheet, like you actually do break down the net of all deals. And it rates all these different assumptions, so then you kind of like, it helps take away the ego out of it. It's a really helpful kind of spreadsheet. I'll try to print that off. If you guys want to take a break.
Sure.
Awesome. Perfect. What's the longest that you've had a real estate deal just continue on and get through different hurdles?
There's nothing that really stands out. There's nothing that really tries.
Yeah. There's some that are just like easier than others and some that just take a little more.
Somewhere I just had a hard time dealing with the person that I was representing after they lost the deal. You know,
Oh, yeah.
because it's like, okay, if we're gonna go through this again, let's go.
Yeah,
Boundaries.
absolutely. I had a strip mall that I was selling and it was a good deal. Like both parties felt really like strong about the deal and we there was a lot of different things that like I provided him like estimates, like 'cause you can't really just do like an inspection, like we had to get like roof contractor and like HVAC and get all these estimates put together because essentially he had to verify that what his rate of return that he wanted to make on the property was accurate. And so we got through all that and there was a lot like just verifying expenses and stuff related to like just annual expenses. And then this appraiser came, he was like about to teach me a lesson and everybody that I told him like, what appraiser are you using? Like within like their legal and like who are you using at closing? And I was representing both sides. So I was dealing with his side of closing too. And I was just like, yeah, we're dealing with this appraiser. And they're like, oh my gosh, good luck. And he took 3 months to appraise it. And he wanted like, essentially like the tenant's account reconciled for each tenant. And there was like 14 tenants in this room. So that took us a couple weeks to get him. And then I sat down with him like multiple times, he had all these questions, and he made this like report on the property. And I was like, okay, well, I guess that's really good to know, but it took 3 months for the appraisal. Then he came in extremely low because I kind of got like a little bit just frustrated with him. Like I didn't really show it a lot, but a little bit, I definitely let him know like, hey, this is getting to be unreal. So then the appraisal came in low, and even the buyer thought that it came in a little low. Like he was like, yeah, that kind of concerns me because.
And you didn't have financing?
Yeah, it would have kind of, but we were working with a small local bank. No, we were working with U.S. Bank. That was another transaction. And so then I got my own appraisal, and I contested their appraisal, and I said, hey, how's it going? Are you presenting today? Teaching class. What's the
Playing it.
So yeah, I don't know. We're having fun. I'm learning. I think I'm learning just as much from them as anything. But telling her how I got this appraisal one time, and I got my own appraisal because I was representing, I guess, like myself and the sellers. And I was like, yeah, that cannot be. And then the other appraisal came like about where we wanted it to be. So then we ended up just meeting in the middle.
Even meeting in the middle is a big concession now, when,
Yeah.
you know, it should have been that I appraised it to begin with.
Was that a lesson, can you say, no, I don't want this appraiser, or is it the same way that we do it? We get an appraiser.
No, we have a little bit more say. Like, we're pretty flexible on that. I really like his bias because an old school agent I've dealt with, like
Because that's,
he is, yeah, like he'll even write offers that say at purchase price or or the lower of the appraisal, whatever, however he words it. I never accept them because he knows the appraisal and he goes there and tells them what to appraise it at. And in this case, like I think we ended up coming down 40,000, which I didn't feel too bad about, but yeah, it was a learning lesson. Like if I see that guy's name come across my desk, it's as complex of a transaction as this one was. Like I will not. I'll just be like, no, we need to go with another appraiser. Cancel this contract. Then after we got the appraisal done, we've already pushed closing back over a month. We got the environmental questionnaire from US Bank, and I went through like filled it out like using all like the environmental websites. And I was like, yeah, there used to be a gas station here, but as you can see, according to MPC, like it's got all the clean letters, it's a good site, and that's not even our site, it's this neighboring site. No, we want a phase one. So that takes like a month. Now we gotta push closing back another month. And we pretty much did the environmental, like the phase one study for the engineers because they were so busy just to like expedite it. So we got it done in a month. It could have taken up to 2. But we went to the dry cleaners. We had to prove that it wasn't an actual dry cleaner. Got a letter from them. We went to the gas station and we got the actual original copies of their clean letter and provided all to them. And that's what we paid them $1,500 to do. And then just Bank came back, all right, we're good. We can close. And the title shirts, like this pushed it back in like just like week, but it should have been done a long time before it. But this was just classic for the bank and the attorney we were dealing with. That showed fixture lien against one of the tenants, not even against the property, but against one of the tenants for a loan that they had on their like, fixtures of their business. And they're like, yeah, we need you guys to get this off the title search. I'm like, well, it's a mistake. It's not supposed to be on there, so we can easily do it. But my attorney was like, you guys can close. Like that does not have any effect to the property. So the whole transaction ended up taking like 8 months or so. Yeah, it was a good paycheck, but it was like definitely made me work. My family couldn't come through. Well, you're getting this commission. I gave you guys a reduced commission. And this took me 8 months. It was not fun.
Yeah, we have the other still, her house just in front of my real estate license. She was so adamant about I'm not paying for more than 3% for a commission. Like you guys, outrageous for what you guys do, what you guys just listed. People run through it. Okay, I said, you guys see the whole picture, but you know, and then if you guys know everything, so it goes wrong. We could join both of you on giving you real estate. I said, I'm talking about the county living. I said, you know, it's a great atmosphere there. It's like, you know, continuous education. We're always, you know, training. You know, we're always looking to, you know, better ourselves. So, if you want with, Keller Williams, with the malls.
with the what?
Males.
After I said, oh, so, you know, what you guys negotiate that, you know, on a commission, 5%. I thought you were going over 3. Definitely not over 3. It's a little harder. They tried for sale by owner for a long time. I think they started in like April, May, June, July, and August when we finally listed real estate agent. After that, it was like 45 to 60 days, and Yeah, so.
Right.
We're trying to-
If Bruce only went down to 5, it makes no sense.
they already had their house on the other side already bought, so they're just waiting to get out of there.
Huh, yeah, see,
No, I mean both sides,
that day was Julie, you know.
right? You know, if Bruce and Kelly were representing the buyers as well as.
Nope, the buyer, came from Mingo, I think. It was, Edina.
Yeah. It's crazy when people think like, you guys just posted, you know, blah, blah, blah. But like so many times when I've either seen buddies or family members go out and try to buy a property, like just direct, they're getting taken on like closing costs and all these things. Like buyer was paying some of the seller's closing costs, and there was like waterproofing problems in the basement that the seller wasn't paying for any of it. And I was like, and they're paying full market rate. You guys are getting screwed essentially. Plus your commission is typically paid on the sell side anyway. So I was like, you know, you might think this is cool and everything, and you can just have your attorney draft your contract, but your attorney's not going to hold your hand through the process and go off your house. Like, it's more often than not, somebody's losing out pretty hard.
Especially if you get the people that supposedly know everything. Really?
Yeah.
You wanna go through the 19 pages, look them over, and this is what you're gonna do with.
That's it.
I got one client, she's trying to sell her house for sale by owner. And, you know, every week we're out looking at houses, and she loves them, and she wants to put in an offer, and found over the townhouse, put in an offer. Gotta fill out the addendum, you know, okay, we got her house for sale, and it's for sale by owner, and she lost out on that townhouse because she was trying to sell her house for sale by owner.
So how
And
is,
the client came back and said, well, you know what, that's the only thing that scared us is, you know, her not having.
how has she priced the physical?
She's up there.
So
Not
is there
necessarily,
any room for you to add to
I've already-
that price?
I've already, you know, gave my 2 cents. I said, do what you need to, but she is really adamant about getting, you know, the 210,000 for her house that probably was worth probably 185. But she needs that because she's all her income to be able to afford the next house going forward.
Over everything.
You know,
Yeah.
she says she was burned, you know, years and years ago, so you're a good friend of mine, so you know, just want to ask me questions. I said, you don't want any help? So I said, nope, I'll use you when the time comes.
Use is the opportunity.
When she gets a house under contract. You just sell, all right.
Yep, that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And it comes down to reality, this is what you're gonna get for it. And I'm walking through houses in the neighborhood.
That's probably one of those listings that you don't really care if you have it at this point.
Correct, and that's what I tell my wife, I said, you know what, I'm already, you know, sick of her and dealing with Lana, because she calls, or, you basis, and I said, yeah. I try to be as nice and, you know, cordial and courteous as possible, and I listen to her, them, you know, all that stuff.
Yeah.
This is another day we're getting ready to sell, I think I'm older now.
Yeah, that,
It's not home, it's biological.
Celtic on it now?
But some of the reports are familiar.
I'm the type of guy that like, I'm not afraid to just get in there and do the work. Like, I think how the sheetrock out doesn't bother me. Like, when it comes to like listing a home and the potential buyers that will probably come to it, like they see the home and like, oh my gosh.
It's for much longer stay home.
Yeah.
And the scary disclosure.
Mhm. it's so easy to just take that piece of drywall out, fills it all, put it up, button tape it, just close it, like, it's so cheap. Some people just don't like going through the motion and the headache.
Yeah.
How often do you guys like, you want to get a sale done, like, step in, almost get over involved where you get too much time into it, you're calling up the drywall sub and letting them in and.
First one that I did,
Yeah.
she wanted to get out there as soon as possible, and the house was just run down. It was priced right in the neighborhood. I think we had 12 offers in the first day. And all she was worried about was, this much money, so we had the next thing all worked out. It was just, she had 2 big dogs, so, there was a lot of like drywall damage, basement. One bedroom, you opened up the closet and there was the water in the electrical. And then the other bedroom, you walk in, you open the closet, there was the washer in the dryer. Windows were cracked. It was just a nightmare.
You just priced it right.
Priced it right, and then I said, you want to choose the worst other, if really don't do anything. So, in order to get anything done, it was probably left up to me to get everything. This is what you got to do. I take care of the sheetrock. A little bit of tape and mud, put it up, paint it as smooth as possible. You get it go. Talk to the buyer's agent and ask, hey, this guy, you want? You talk to him and see how it goes. If he was like hands on it, so he was going to do all of those things, that he wanted to do. So, in order to get the was built in, we sell it. So I had to do the letter disclosure. We had to get the whatchamacallit guy in there to run his tests on radon, all that taken care of.
Yeah, I find myself getting too involved. Like the clients really appreciate it. Where I should just be like, okay, here's a drywaller, here's a painter, both these guys can help you set it up. And then I'm over there letting them in. I've seen myself grabbing carpet glue because the carpet guy forgot it. I'm like, where do I have my contractor in this whole process?
2 calls she had plenty in her basement. She was blaming it on the inspector. Must have been fooling around back there with the water valve or something. So coming in where it's still so kind of top she's going. Oh, everybody, what am I supposed to do with that stuff? Here I go, there's that's the damage, see how much water you actually do have, where it's coming from.
Right.
It is nice to have names of some contractors that will make board clothes repairs. I had suggested that one place for flooring, and it was the deal breaker every single time. So that there's that place, Jenny's.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
Junkies was up in jungle without the L.
Yeah, they,
How do they pronounce it? Young.
oh, really?
Yeah, because that's a guy who manages property, that's one of his properties.
The ES silent?
Young, I think it's Young. Yeah. He always called it Junkie too.
And so I'm surprised that they haven't lost their place more often than they have, because if somebody is promising to pay it, like, they sign me the paperwork because it doesn't close, you still owe you money. But if it doesn't close, and they didn't want to have it in the first place, I think you got an agent getting stuck in the middle and all of that too.
Yeah. When I was buying my house, when I'm in now, one had septic issue. They allowed me to go in and start, like, I told them I was the owner of the code, and I put it in writing, and I said, like, I gave it to them, and I said, like, I'm going to make X, Y, and Z, and any repairs that are not completed, we don't end up closing. That was like dead time. I'm like 10,000 into this thing already. And the lady like agreed on it, but she never gave me a signed copy back. And I didn't really think too much of it. And then she like, she walked through in the house and she like called, I think she called me directly like, wow, what's going on? And I called the agent, I was like, either you didn't actually get approval or he's like, no, I didn't. I was like, well, get that thing signed, get it back to me. And then she wanted to go to court and I was luckily like I knew her attorney, so I called him and I was like, I do not want to go to court. I've been there and it's really expensive and nobody wins. I was like, call your client. He's like, yeah, I'll do that. And he calmed her down and she called me back and she said, I'll never do any work without having the actual signature back. She was. Keep rocking. Negotiate. Oh, we learned to the past, choose a different partner from the previous activity. One person will play the buy agent, the other will play the listing agent, take a few minutes to review the scenario and information. Using what you learned in this session, take 1 to 2 minutes to prepare for negotiation of a counter offer. Present your case with your partner, practice positioning, go back and forth 2 times, both aiming to achieve one agreement. It's not bad.
Let's just talk through it.
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, I agree. So, buying agent scenario. Your client has found the house they love and it's in the neighborhood they want. It is at the top of their price range and does need some work updating the kitchen and bathroom. The client makes an offer on the property and the seller's agent says, I must warn you that we have gotten several offers and your offer is pretty low. Your seller's listing agent says, your sellers need to move within 45 days due to a job transfer. You feel that you have priced the house competitively, you are aware of updating, but the sellers don't see the need because the house is just fine for them. There have been multiple offers, and the other offers are still standing, but the timing may not work for the sellers. And the latest offer is lower than the asking price. You have left the buyers know, and I'll tell you that they've got several offers, the offers pretty low. Kind of like a classic scenario.
As a buyer's agent, I would ask what else is important to someone who says,
Yeah, that's a good one. I feel like it's always tough, especially if you've worked with agents before, but like trying to figure out if they're bluffing or not. Like, they're just pulling me like a car salesman trip. I too often think like, okay, they're just pulling me like a car salesman. Like, let's just go firm. And it typically works out, but when it doesn't, it's never fun because your buyer really wants someone that's in it. Like, it's just kind of frustrating, but I think it's better than just falling for it. A lot of times that's a position I take. I think the listing agent side, you don't want to over disclose or over show your hands.
Well, you don't want to say, hey, your offer's pretty low. You probably already know it's, not at the asking price.
I think the point of the buyer on the buying side saying, okay, well, what else is there that we can do to make our offer more attractive. Like he said, if we can close it quicker, like coming to that mutual understanding without, over.
Yeah, if I can close in 45 days, because, he needs to, pack up all his belongings and get to a new job. If he can't be there, that's leaving his family behind and all that. Just have another mortgage payment, all your utilities.
Removing contingencies, having very solid, conventional financing, and financing, showing that they're actually gonna be a positive business.
That, I've seen that where they continually push like the contingencies back, and I've had it where if you have the time and you feel pretty passionate that they can, push it back, it's still in the deadline, and it's like, okay, put this money down, or, sometimes you gotta get creative. Make it work, like, okay, we'll extend it if you make a portion of that, this money, there's always a way to get to the closing line, you just gotta figure out what that road is. Sweet. Sometimes you just want to be like,
Correct.
You can't.
There again, all the shows on HGTV where you watch all these people walk through, like the paint here, the kitchen museum, okay, well, they can think, that's seller up in the kitchen, it might not be to, what they like. Instead of stainless steel refrigerator, they might just get some, cheap old, freaking white, made apartment type refrigerator, throw it in there, you might want a gas stove, and they might, rip it out and throw a cheap electric in there. Might not put a tile that you want, might not, even with nasty bath, just let everything out there and throw some, cheap stuff in the mirrors and things. We want to do a kid or stuff. Yeah, you took it off, you just, after that. But I go under the bathroom, like how they just have, just in the shower.
Yeah. That's good. And like I like getting into like the counter offers and negotiations even more than like the original offer, because then I feel like, okay, you guys are like almost there. Let's just figure out small little details, because there's so many different ways to get into it.
Also, if I were representing the buyer on this one, I would pull comps and just say, look, we see that there are other ones that are sold for what your sellers want to sell for, but they're all marketed.
Yeah.
And $10,000 difference, not that much for the updates.
Yeah, bringing it back to
Being prepared. That was a good thing.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, everything's negotiable.
Yeah.
And nobody, you can tell, the house is priced exactly right, seller's market. Are you willing to pay $199? Nobody wants to pay full price for anything. The used car is that's like, best price is a sticker price right on the thing. It's like, really? You're not going to go down maybe $1,000? Yeah. Can't do that for me. Even if you say, well, I'm going to pay cash. Oh, hey, let me go talk to my manager. All of a sudden, my wife did that. Mom said, nope, that price is non-negotiable. It's the best sticker price that we have. You have to roll, and offer all cash. Oh, well, hold on. All of a sudden, their eyes lit up. So let me go with that. My wife wrote down what she was going to pay for it. It's like $2,000. Yeah, we'll take it. Because we left there and she goes, that was non-negotiable. What was that? That's what it was.
Yeah. I mean, like, I've negotiated appraisal fees, like, everything is just kind of a balance. Like, even the lenders, like, when they're asking points, like, hey, just a simple question, will you do a half point on this one? Or, especially if you're getting a lot of business, they're always everything to help the deal get done. It leads to them getting the deal done as well. And their side, they'll negotiate.
title companies, some charge, like the 1%, or you can go to like maybe oddball. Title company that might be just $199 bucks. That's it. They're paying, like 1,200. So that's, $1 left in their pocket, and they can, put elsewhere.
Yeah, that's right. And that sheet's showing, okay, all things considered, you guys are doing a lot better than you might even expect.
So, and like the first house I had, the house you wanted was $15,000 out of that house. The house you wanted. Well, then you get some more by the time everything was said and done. I think she took home like 24,000. She was in cost. Wow. Expect that.
That's pretty cool.
Well,
Always good when you can force it. Awesome. So,
we can ask the master.
What's that?
yeah, here we go.
Negotiating a counter offer. And,
I just did a negotiation just now.
Did you?
Want to hear it?
Yes.
You can put it on speakerphone.
No. So it's new construction, and in the MLS, it said $1,500 for concrete and $1,200 for back steps, because they couldn't do any of that because the winter time.
Those were allowances.
Pardon?
Allowances.
Allowances. So, supposed to be 1.5 times the 2,700.
That's correct.
Well, we get there and it says $1,200 or $1,500 for concrete and $500 for sod. We're looking at these numbers. Okay, we're not getting sod, they're seeking it. There's concrete work, but that's hardly going to cover all the concrete work. So I said to Amanda, where did those numbers come from? And she said, the builder provided those numbers to the appraiser. Well, where the heck did he get these numbers from? I said, so now what? She said, well, the only way to change it is to go back to the appraiser and have them reappraise it. So here's the buyer's like, no. No, that's not gonna happen. So she was, thank God, very reasonable. And I said, well, here's the deal. It's clearly written. I mean, we have it spelled out so clearly. I said, it's clearly written in the contract, and I showed it to her again. She's like, I know. The other realtor did a great job with all the detail. She said, so I'm fine with it. I trust them. They gotta get it done anyway, or they don't get any money.
Yeah.
Because she's the one that has to release it.
Right.
So I talked to the other realtor just now. He's like, and I said, how was the closing? I said, well, there was a little bit of a hiccup.
Was that closing here?
Huh?
Was that closing here?
Yeah, and we just did the final walkthrough yesterday with the owner, because the owner hired the builder. So thank God the owners were there. And the buyer and the owners are both from Chatfield. They're both from Chatfield, so they ended up, thank God they ended up knowing mutual people. And it could have been ugly had they not met the owners.
Yeah.
Even percent of the state, it seems strange that the appraiser would be given.
Yeah, it was a mistake. It wasn't the builder trying to,
Why would they have to
split the lots
reappraise it?
together. Huh?
They have to rephrase it for financing reasons or for?
For whole back reasons. Yeah, I hadn't run into that. We always run into something different. But last week, not this Friday, but the Friday before, this has been quite. We just happened to go in the house the Friday before to measure for blinds. On the lower bedroom, carpet's sloping one.
In new construction?
Yeah. In one of the rooms. I don't know, man. Call the builder. I tried to call the realtor, I didn't get home, so I called the builder. I'm like, here's the deal. okay, well, he's in the right away, and let's try that. You know, we'll suck it up, and, okay. So then I talked to you. And the buyer is freaking out because she had water in her home.
Sure, even if they suck it up, what's gonna prevent it from coming
Yeah,
out? And
so she had water in her home, and she had to have all of her flooring replaced and drywall cut into, and so she's like, because it had just happened to her like a year before. Because her dishwasher was
Where
the floor, all of it had to be replaced, like the water, basement. Absolutely, my daughter's sleeping, and I had that. So we had to get the inspection company out to see if there was moisture. After they sucked all the water out, we waited like 3 days for it to dry out. And there was,
moisture?
but what's normal, what's not, you know?
Right.
So that.
And the
we decided-
landscaping has not been done yet.
But that was the only real water test. Now we do a mold test, which is a lot of money. It was more money than what they told us. So I went back to the realtor and I said, we're not needing this. You know, the only reason we did this is because of the water. So this comes down to Friday. Getting the mold test results. We did the mold test on Tuesday, thank God we got it back on Friday. And the levels came back. Otherwise, she wasn't gonna move in. You know, her house is closing today too. I mean, it was a fiasco. But
So the builder wasn't the owner? It was like an investor building it? Huh. Interesting.
so, thank God those mold levels came up.
Yeah.
So then we had to write in another amendment. Had so many amendments go back and forth. And it was very hard to nail down that builder. You know, well, the structure's here for 10 years. I'm like, this has nothing to do with the structure. Hopefully it has nothing to do with the structure.
Yeah.
Came through the window. And so he said, well, he's like, it won't happen again. I figured out, you know, what it was, a piece of ice, frozen ice that got stuck in the window well. I removed it, it drained, everything's fine.
Right.
You know, so we know that's what it really is. And he's like, well, and I said, so what can we do right now to make sure that this is covered? I said, we just want a year, you know, just want a year guarantee.
Mhm.
That if there's any water that comes in, that you're gonna take care of it, rectify it. So I'm like, round and round with that.
You wouldn't do that?
That was
Last
very
Friday,
reasonable to only.
yeah, all this is coming together last Friday. I'm like, and so finally decided.
That's,
Finally, he signed it and I got it this morning at 7:00. And we're closing at 9.
that's one that, like, if they don't sign it, it's like, we're not closing, because if you can't
Yeah.
warranty this thing for a
And
year.
I told the realtor, I said, we're not closing.
Yeah.
You know, so. Like what happened yesterday. And they've all been reasonable, you know. And except the builder was.
The experienced builder?
Yeah. We just kind of backtracked and I'm like, the realtor, I said, you know, we're not closing. He's like, I don't blame you. You do more than we, I don't blame you.
Yeah.
He said, I'll make sure that it gets done. We'll get it tomorrow. 7 a.m.
So you're still early.
Hmm?
When did you sleep last night? Like a baby.
No, because I didn't get it until this morning. So there's a negotiation. Real estate, you're always learning.
Right.
You know, there's always new things that happen all the time. Sorry to interrupt you.
Oh, that was a good learning lesson right there. So, Putting it all together.
Yep. Here's the end.
Yeah. We started in the middle. I mean, not really. We skipped the
10-4, so that's 35 for you.
Oh, so we can do that now.
yeah.
Or we can do it.
Yeah.
Or we can do it at home.
As long as we do it, right?
That's it. Action plan. Prepare for your next class. Recall and remember. Action plan. Attend negotiation training class at your next market center, region, or family reunion. I think like the negotiation course I took for CCIM was down in Florida, but the instructor had gone through every type of, different like lease or sale lease back or whatever it was. Like got so in the weeds. So the further that take education and like the direction you want to go is just so important. Like even like you're talking about the whole seminars on new construction and just that way, okay, I know what to look out for, and when I do come to it, how to handle it. Because when I was in this, like national level class, I was going through a lease and we were $250,000 off on providing. Yeah, it was a
That's pretty big.
yeah, because he spoke Mandarin Chinese and he had an interpreter, and we had this whole lease negotiated. And the two biggest things is he wanted to self-contract it, and it was a historic building. And the other thing was the tenant improvement allowance, and we gave him like
Tenant what allowance?
tenant improvement, so he can like make improvements. And he paid over asking price, and we gave him full tenant improvement allowance because we knew it was going to cost a lot. And then he had this assumption that we were providing like double that. So I'm like, oh my God, like this deal's going to blow up. We got like months into this lease and money, like we had all full architecture.
Was it a building here?
Yeah, it was the old Goonies building.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and we had like 10, 15,000 architectural plans, and like getting through permitting, and like this lease negotiation took too long. So I was at this course and we were learning about percentage rents, and teacher's like, well, just figure out what you need to net off percentage rent, like so anything over X amount that he makes, you get 10% off. So then we came to him with our first offer. He's like, sweet, let's do it. Because we gave him 250,000 extra, but we were making back like between 300,000 to 400,000 over the life of the lease.
Let's do it.
So he was like, he liked it. He got his money up front. It's kind of like a loan. And then we got really in the weeds about how we broke down his sales. So like we got all the sales from the two locations, Utopia North and South. We broke it down on a per square foot basis and a per seat basis. And then we actually ran the numbers off of that. Like we did credit card sales only, that was too hard. But then we figured out, okay, like we were thinking, we're kind of got the upper hand here. You did it based on that. We have higher price per plate downtown, more liquor sales, longer hours. So we were like, sweet, we'll do the deal. And he was all about it. So all people were happy.
So how are you making sure you're getting your money back?
Every month he has to send us his credit card statement. It's off the gross income. So if he meets a certain threshold, then we get like 5% of the sales. And I'm pretty positive that we need to know.
So when is the business failed?
Then I wouldn't be too worried about it because in addition to the 500,000, yeah, we put 500,000 of our money into it. And he's putting another like I want to say 700,000-800,000 into it. So like in the long term, like they kind of suck in the short term because we're not getting a check, but it's like, hey, you just improved our building. Wow. He did a lot more to it than I expected him to.
So what about that?
Called Fuji Steakhouse. Gonna open the first, second, April 2nd.
So that's the same owner.
It's Pittsburgh Blue.
That opens the
What?
4th or 6th.
Pittsburgh Blue. 4th and 6th of April.
Yeah.
What's Pittsburgh Blue?
The no building downtown.
Oh,
The,
I think it's a chain, isn't
Yeah, that one is a chain. They're really expensive. Like their steaks would be the most expensive.
it? Like a Ruth's Chris.
Yeah. This guy, like, I was really surprised. Like, he had steak and lobster for $35, and his quality of food at the steakhouse that our building really good for the price. So I was like, oh, should work. Let's hope that your margins up there. But
Yeah.
he's in the business. I'm not. So it'll be interesting. Yeah. Yeah, my dad.
Those are some big steaks.
Yeah.
At DAK, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was like one of the like my dad put full trust in me because he sold his business and then he was reinvesting it into commercial real estate because like just the way the business was heading, he was retiring and he had already gone through too much. He's like, I want to buy all commercial real estate. So that was part of the reason I got into it. And I came to him with this building. I was like, this thing is vacant, but I know I can lease it. And I was like, but you gotta pay cash for it. And he's like, wait, this better work
Also,
out.
your dad bought the.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you got a lot in stake.
Yeah. And I mean, it was like, put a lot of trust in me, but it worked out like, because I told him, you gotta buy it all cash because you don't want to be paying interest every month if you own this thing that's vacant. And I was like, it's gonna take a year to fill it. He's like, no, we'll get it done. So he ended up buying cash, but then I said, or I got the tenant there and it took almost a year. So it took like, I didn't overpromise that, but it actually came out to be better than we originally expected, like when I ran the numbers, because I guess downtown just got more crazy and vibrant and the needs for restaurants. So it'll be definitely a good property.
It's a big building.
Yeah, that's cool. Especially from what he's turned it into since have you seen any of the videos out there on Facebook yet? I'll have to show them. Yeah.
I have a quick question. I don't want to lose. How do you know when I have a residential seller, I'll go to the tax records.
Okay.
Is the same information available to me for commercial properties? How do you know whether somebody owns or leases? And how do you know where it's at?
Yeah. The value is one of the hardest, like, because there's no comp sheets, or like there's no like central database for comps, and everybody like holds all their data as close as they can. So,
But I mean, the
values-
market value where Rochester taxes are involved.
yeah, so that one, I've like consulted with some building owners in town, and they'll pay me like I'll get a raise. That's what it's like annually intensive. Where like you gotta go and find comparable buildings, then give your opinion why you think they're comparable, and then I break down like per square foot of land, building, and then like how they're allocating the taxes to each. And you just try to create an argument and say, okay, all these comps are showing these guys paying these taxes, so we feel like we should pay this price.
Okay, so you just go to the regular property display
Yeah.
website, Ulster County Property Display, and plug in that address and it pops up for.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then how you can tell if somebody's leasing versus owning it, like the building, like people always buy a smart and like LLCs. So then you gotta go search that on the Minnesota Business website.
Or alternate addresses.
Sometimes that works. Sometimes like they'll just put their attorney's address somewhere. But if you like see like, oh, it's a steakhouse somewhere, I bet they're just leasing, and you can search that on the Minnesota Business filing, and then you can see if that's their address of business or if they have like a residence listed.
Is it pretty typical that restaurants are non-owners in the
Uh,
downtown location?
yeah, in downtown. Yeah.
I have a client who has a restaurant. And I want to tell him, buy that thing if you can, not to represent you, you know. It's a great.
Also, they have the restaurant in there now that they don't know.
I don't know whether they do or not.
Yeah, Rochester's, the tax values can be so far off of the actual too, especially downtown. And some people are just like.
Thankfully, for the taxpayers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's usually the taxpayers. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, there'll be like one on the outskirts of town that it's like 50% more that they're being assessed than they should be. It's picking on the wrong people. So practice negotiation tax and time. Tactics with your partner. We've done that. Practice all the scripts with your partner. Well, you guys have partners outside class as well. Yeah. Okay. Prepare for next week. Download pre-work. Continue your daily 10 to 1. So you guys have to make 10 phone calls every day.
It averages out.
And notes and previews.
10 houses a week. Like,
And enter it in the tracker. And so I'm trying to figure out, like, I think there was a week where I wasn't on my game with the tracker and I can't go back to that.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go back.
Yeah.
Because I have all my written down and book and I usually just like Friday or Saturday.
Yeah.
No, I mean, that was.
Yeah,
I'm
so
still
we have, you can plug the data.
lead generation is like my biggest weak point. Like I do not do enough of it until like I get a buyer that's like 31. I need to buy something. Then I'm just going nuts. But if I'm just like Monday hanging out in the office.
Well, I mean, that's a nice situation too, because you're real. When you're talking to people, you're real. You say, I have a buyer.
Yeah. It helps. But like outside of that, like starting a business, I am not good at it. Luckily, I got leasing to do to keep me preoccupied. But I need something like Bold would just like stir me up.
Yeah, that'll stir you up.
I mean, that's like this class, you know, not necessarily my first time here, but, you know, at least it sets a fire. Oh, hey, you know, I came into a meeting, now I'm all pumped up, you know, go make some contacts. I always look at this and I'm going out to find new friends. So,
Yeah.
doesn't, you know, hey, I used to be shy, now I'm not shy. Now it's like, what would the old Jason do? He'd probably, you know, knock his tail between his legs and then run out the back door. Now it's like, you know, hey, you know, I'm gonna go in there and get a haircut instead of sitting up there waiting for her. You know, nobody's in there now. Now I can go in there.
Yeah.
Now it's like,
Yeah.
I need to make a contact. I think I'll get a haircut.
you know, I get new tires and my car's got like 300,000 miles. That's what I said. I'm just gonna go to Walmart. So we sat in the waiting room and there was like, you know, 15 people there. I have a money thing with like my business cards. So I got it out house and all my business cards fell on the floor. It's like, yep. They all
Did you do it on purpose?
Yeah, I did it on purpose.
Wow.
I'm out of real. Quite a few conversations. Stuff like that. You know, I say, "Hey, here you go."
That's how to do it. Like
That's very clever.
the organic or even having that warm welcome, it goes so much further than cold calling. Like I'm not good at cold calling. And if I go to like networking event, I always let people talk more and then they ask what you do and then I'll like, oh, I know somebody that's looking to place a business. It's like, that's how I generate most of my leads. And I gotta get back to doing more of that now, but
What kind of networking events do you work with?
just like even the most random ones, like DMC will hold like a thing at like the Chateau Center. And yeah, I always try to get into those where it's like all the business professionals are there because I feel like for like the market I'm trying to break into is like 50 people that own the majority of the real estate in town. And I know all of them, they all know each other. So it's like, okay, how can I build a relationship stronger with those 50 people? Like, I'm not going to call them every day and bother them. But
Right.
it's like, okay, how can I organically just get in with the event? So I'll see like, oh, they're going to Rochester Builders sporting clay shoot. Like, I better attend that because I know a lot of those guys are going to be there or whatever it might be. That's like kind of like how I shift my mindset a little bit. But I think it's always good to cold call too.
So what if there was still the 28th, Rochester Green Drinks, does anybody know about that? The like energy efficiency folks.
Oh, yeah.
Meet once a month for drinks. And they're a smart, cool group of people.
So you've been there?
Yeah.
That would be good.
Go to
Thursday the 28th.
yeah, Facebook under
Oh, what's that age range?
And where is it?
Forger.
Sounds about right.
And last month we met at, what's the Grand Rounds, and the Grand Rounds has a great private meeting room where they can shut off a lot of the noise.
How much this cost?
RPU and windmills and solar panels and a building code, and how to partner with public utilities to, but we have a lot of green features in our own home that we just knew we were gonna have to put green house for. We weren't gonna see that
Right.
necessarily, but it's a philosophical mindset.
Right.
And so this is more like a socially conscious, okay, let's show you the advantages and let's get, some payback for what people are sacrificing in order to get those things.
You're not drinking green drinks, you're actually having green energy.
Correct.
That's cool. That'd be a good one to go to.
Yeah,
Yeah, big, great one.
I was very surprised, both that one and the Rochester, the investors meeting that's in this office.
Oh, yeah.
The attendance at those has just gone up and up.
I held that for Melissa. That's who it was, right? Same one. Okay, yeah. When she was having her baby.
Yeah.
And like, I just like kind of let them go, like take the conversation that they wanted, but it was so much fun because we got to talking about like contract reviews and like all like the early stage investor type things.
And I know, yeah, it's like, you gotta get there at 7 o'clock and talk to the venture investors, I leave and there's no voice.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a more motivational push. So, being at home, waking up and, these $2 or if you want to come to the office, like, you don't get a lot done because, that's me. Laptop up, and ready to roll. What goes to work, our eyes, it's in the platform, the news, the weather, and that's in the office, just under a remote. Yeah, didn't do nothing.
When I started talking about like investing in like different components in real estate, like just gets my mind going. I go back to my office, start a new project. Like after that, that investor meeting I held, I was telling about like how I use other people's money in like a partnership and still like remain the general partner, and then they were just limited partners. And one, oh my God, I'm gonna go build an apartment complex with other people's money. Be careful.
I'm trying this at home.
Like, you're definitely gonna want some help because I did it by myself my first time. It was a small deal, but like I would next time get a financial advisor or like accountant involved earlier on rather than me trying to figure it all out. And like more or less about putting the right people in place, and then you just covering the upfront expense, and then once the deal gets done, then you make your payroll. So I was like, well, it still takes money to make money, but
Yeah.
just not as much.
What do you think of all these apartment buildings and the hotels? I mean, you're really gonna be able to sell all those?
I don't know. I was thinking like, oh my gosh, like growing up, born and raised here, this is way too much. And I was like concerned, like Eastwood Ridge, like the Pines, like some of like outer apartments that are still asking $1,000 to $1,100 for like a small 1-bedroom, like pretty medium finishes. And at first, it took them a little bit to get filled, but they're like 60% occupancy. But now they're all like, they had to, they kind of held firm, but now they kind of gave $100 a month, which they had, the room to negotiate that stuff, and start providing incentives like a shuttle, which is like just pennies on the dollar for them. And now they're like 90% occupancy.
Wow.
Yeah, like the Pines, I heard when the new buyer bought it, he got a pretty good deal because the occupancy wasn't good, just because it was locally owned and managed. This guy's out of Chicago, came in, just made some small changes, and
Where is it? In Southeast?
Pines is right behind Ivy.
Oh,
Ivy
yeah.
West Circle.
Yeah.
Now he's like 96%. And like Eastwood Ridge, they're at like 90-something%.
That one took a long time.
It did take a long time. I have 2 buddies that live out there, and I would keep my eye on them. And like, you just go 5, 6 p.m., go check the parking lot, see how many cars are there. And I was like, holy crap, this place is like gotta be hurting. And they were like 50% for a long time. I don't really know what it was, but all of a sudden, kind of about the same time,
What about the boulders?
I'm not sure about the boulders. I think I had an ex-girlfriend living in the Springs at South Broadway, pretty comparable. That one was 90-some%. The boulders, I would assume they were a little bit of outlier because they're farther out.
Yeah.
They have a little bit better amenities around them, but they were asking like 1,200,
They have a
1,300.
lot of it.
Yeah, they do. So, like, they're probably into the deal, so right, because the land was like,
Isn't it Penn's?
No,
that one's a national firm, but they,
the
probably-
boulders?
I think they're national.
I thought it was the guy from Chicago. I
Could
did
be,
that too,
could be.
because Deb O'Connor was the, she was the office person that coordinated all the contractors. Subcontractors.
Wow. That's awesome. Yeah, they, the hotel one, I don't know enough about hotel. Like, I would love to get into it, but maybe down the road, because I just want to learn what I'm, just get better at what I'm doing now, but I feel like they'll probably be fine. Like, I feel like everybody has this, like, stereotype of the clinic having, like, these really rich people coming, which is true to a degree, but from what I've heard, like, they might be overbuilding on the luxury side, and just, like, they need more market rate or even affordable. Because, like, my old broker, Nick Pompane, who I'm still good buddies with, he built the Marriott, which is just, like, market rate, and was way over projections. Like, they're always full, and they're doing really well, so it's like, that's what they need more of, but, you know, this luxury come up because it's what DNC likes, and they're incentivizing. So, kind of, definitely interesting time.
Yeah, and they have the apartment building going up where the Blondell was, yes, and on the Blondell, didn't they?
Oh, yeah. The last project.
Hmm?
They call it
Lattice.
the beer thing now or something.
Yeah,
It just seems like it's filling out.
Yeah.
Just like way up against the street.
yeah, I wish, City of Rochester would sell that green space over on 16th Avenue and 2nd Street, with Josh and Holiday.
Yeah, I've been looking at that. I don't, right?
Why don't
yeah,
they sell it?
do. I don't know. They're hard to get in touch with, but I met with the city on it. And I was like, hey, we want to do a project here. And they're like, okay, well, we need something. I said, we want to do office because I have like multiple tenants. I want to be 2nd Street, and a lot of people, a lot of businesses do. And they're like, we want something related to transit. Classic, that's the city, you know, that's what they want. And they have all these requirements. So we met with the guy. He gave us all the information what they're looking for. And we put like a proposal together. It shows.
See, I live, when they did the Lattice project, that's a block over from me, and they bought the first 5 houses.
Oh,
And they
yeah.
got pretty good money for it. And I'm 5 houses up from that green space, and I'm like, come on! They're building,
Yeah.
I'll sell my house.
They gotta leave some,
What's that?
they gotta leave some green space.
Yeah. I do. I
Well, they talked about doing a park there. Haven't done anything. Why haven't they?
I think they probably do want somebody to develop it, but they probably don't want it to be like too developer like centric. Like they want it to be more community involved because it is a pretty key corner. So when we met with this, I think it was Richard Freeze at the city. He kind of told us like what they were looking for. So this is what we can do.
They're calling that area. The gateway.
Yeah, the gateway.
And on the other side of 52 on 2nd Street,
Mhm.
they're calling that Uptown.
So that's
Actually, they've been doing that kind of stuff though, since a couple of years.
But
Yeah.
I like Uptown. I don't know if it's the right area, but it's sticking for 'em. It's working. But the gateway is like, come on, like I guess. But
yeah,
So we went, that's the part. So we went through and like read every like meeting notes because the city of whole meetings and what they want to see, all this stuff. We came up with these plans that like retail, a lot of parking, and then covered bus stop, like heated with like coffee stand. So then buses can just come right here, whatever means of transportation they have in mind. And auto clinic on the main floor. So then like people can park there during the days and they can just drop their key off and be like, I'm in space 201, I need my oil change. And they go to work and they can just don't have to worry about it. And then second
So
floor.
who does those drawings?
And you know, like they're just really preliminary. He could do a much better job, but we don't want to put too much time.
Right.
So, like if this is what they're doing. So then we were thinking second floor, 24-hour daycare. So
Yeah.
then they could support like the clinic's third shift.
Makes a lot of sense.
That was our architect's idea.
The location for that.
Do you have, your face? It is a woman, you know,
Teresa McCormick?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's who he is.
sounds like a Teresa idea.
It is. She's awesome. That's why I like her because she works on the historic preservation committee. She has like an in on the city and all that work. So then office 1 through 4, hopefully Keller Williams up on the top level of the city. And then top level green space, like outdoor event center that people can just hold like art fairs or like urban farmers markets, and then little playground for the daycare to meet that code.
You need a lot of parking.
Yeah, parking on 1 through 4.
Yeah.
Teresa was helping us. So we like,
What?
I mean, not like that, but like we like the look of it. And if you just look at that part, something like that. But I don't know. This is just ideas, and then like the city loves green landscaping and garage doors that open, large setbacks. Idea of green.
So that's, they are gonna have to take houses for that.
No.
That's a huge thing.
Yeah, no, these are just like renderings, but
I just don't want to see another big building.
yeah, no, and this will only be 5 stories, which is going to be like the Holiday Inn right across.
Yeah.
So it'd be
That
like
building is way too big. The
the,
lattice building.
oh yeah, it is monstrous.
We bought it, the neighborhood bought it.
Yeah. They did do some things right architecturally, but it's huge.
Huge.
And it just like, it does crowd the whole,
Oh, yeah, it's taller than St. Mary's.
it is. Yeah, like they were like, they did this like visual slope, like coming off 52. Like, oh, you can still see like 40% of the St. Mary's and you can't even see the helicopter pad.
No,
So it was
no,
definitely.
they lied.
That was an old place, yeah.
That's about it. Little bike station because the city loves, Michael Woodruff loves bikes.
Yes, he does.
And repair stations and then all of it.
So these are different ideas for that corner?
Yeah, that's like our concept with all the ideas that we want. Yeah. But I think like our key thing is like the neighborhood and the taxpayers don't want another big building.
Right.
So we want it to look like organic, like kind of like the People's Food Club, but
Yeah,
a mixture of like organic with actual green space and like actual uses that the neighbors and city need.
right.
So
I
that's,
just love meeting that second shift need.
yeah, for daycare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, any other questions?
Well, it's interesting to talk about the commercial.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot larger of a project than I was thinking of before, but just keep trying and